on and hit that like, share, and subscribe for more content. The channel is growing, and I thank you guys for tuning in and watching. Today, we're going to talk about the perfect bug out bag, the ultimate bug out bag, and kind of my philosophy on picking a bug out bag. And this is the train of thought of what I look for with looking for a bug out bag and why I picked this one. We're going to talk about kind of why I think certain bags are better than others. You know, I'm not going to tell you which one is the ultimate one, but I have had pretty much the majority of all the major players out there, tested them out, and so I'm going to give you my opinion, and this is from somebody that is a big backpacker, hiker, mountaineer, whatever you want to call it, climbing 8, 9, 10,000 foot. I've climbed up 13,000 foot mountains before, carrying packs everywhere between 20 pounds all the way up to 80 pounds with hunting and packing meat out on animals, between elk hunting and deer hunting and bear hunting and the whole 9 yards. Any kind of backpack I've strapped on my back. I've used backpacks for wildland firefighting. I've done backpacks for search and rescue. I've done backpacks that are designed for water rescue and water packs. Pretty much any kind of backpack that's out there, I've tried it, I've used it, I've done it. This is what I'm come to after, almost basically two decades of messing around with backpacks and bug out bags. So we're going to talk about why I chose this bag. So if you guys have seen the channel before, I'm a big Hill People Gear fan. A lot of the stuff I have is Hill People Gear. My day pack is the Haratumara day pack, is what I use for just hiking, out lightweight hiking or going out in the desert or something for sightseeing or just running around. I use that one. I use the Kuya backpack from them for backpacking, predominantly in the winter and the fall when I'm carrying heavier loads and warmer gear and stuff like that. Especially when I'm going up in the mountains in the winter and I'm going above the snow line where I know I'm going to be just dealing with a lot of cold weather, whether it be digging down 6, 7 feet into the snow in some areas to set up a camp. We won't get into all that. So I use that. But this is what I'm switching to. This is the Hill People Gear Decker system. This one is the Decker Pocket. It's in, if you're worried about the color, this is Ranger Green. It's a very ingenious system, and they carry very different. I'm going to break down on why I use this bag on some other videos. This is going to be part of a series of videos where we're going to rebuild my bug out bag together, and I'm going to show you guys all this. But this is the pack I've chosen, and I'm going to tell you why I chose this. Things I look for in a bug out bag. Number one is, does it draw a whole lot of attention? Now, I have a lot of Everly stock. The Gunslinger pack has a lot of Molly. It's a sniper pack, pretty much designed for the military. They have some hunting versions of it. That bag is what I was using for my bug out bag, just because it was such a great bag and so versatile. Carries pretty darn good, but it draws a lot of attention to yourself, and there's some advantages to this pack that backpack will just never have. I'm going to get into that a little bit later. That's what I come from when using a bug out bag. So for any kind of pack, especially a bug out bag, I want something that is very comfortable and I can carry for a lot of miles, obviously. And Hill People Gear's yoke system is very nice. It's kind of a hybrid yoke system as far as you wear it and not wear the pack. So we'll go into that a little bit later, but check it out. That's a video for another time. So it's got to be comfortable. It also needs to have a very comfortable hip belt that's easy to get off. The backpack doesn't need to be overly cumbersome to where, it's hard to move in it. This pack, you can move in it, you can crawl in it, you can shoot with it on, you can climb up stuff, you can get in and out of vehicles easily. Even if you had it on, you could crawl through debris. Things you want in a good, solid bug out bag. As you guys know, I spent a lot of time up in the mountains, and so a lot of my choices on gear is influenced from stuff that I've used in the real life for up to, a week up in the mountains. So, most people, their bug out bags, their go bags, they look at it and they're wanting bags that last, 72 hours, and I do that 2 times over when I go backpacking or hunting or, I'm up in the mountains. So I got a handle on what I need for myself to stay well past a 72-hour kit. That's nothing. So the other thing that I choose is it needs to be able to hold a weapon system pretty comfortably without drawing too much attention. This bag is made where you can put meat in it for hunting. You can extend it out and move it around, put meat in it. It also has many ways and pockets you can strap rifles on. So another thing I look for any kind of backpack, especially for a bug out bag, is it needs to be able to hold a rifle on it. very easily, and I can get to it for hunting or whatever I need to do with a rifle. Now, here's the trade-off with switching to Hill People gear. There's not a lot of modularity and organization internally in their packs, but they do carry a lot better, and it's just a big pocket. Now this, the Decker pocket, which is the smallest of the Decker system, does have a side zip little stuff pocket on here, and you can get other stuff and add in whatever. But what I love about this pack is it has a lot of attachment points because you can get different sizes of these and take them out. Like this one is going to be set up for bugging out, and then I'm going to have a smaller one that I can take out of this chassis system and use for, you know, going up in the mountains for the day as just a gear bag, an emergency bag, and stuff like that. And then when I get home at night, I just put the bug out pack pocket back in there, and I'm good to go. It simplifies things. I don't have to use too many bags and stuff like that. Going back to choosing your bag, the other thing you need to be very conscious of is what is your climate. I spend a lot of time in 2 different climates. I spend a lot of time in the eastern U.S. and the western U.S. back and forth throughout the year. And so when I bring a bug out bag with me, a lot of the problems is the climate is different. When I'm in the east, I don't need as much gear in the winter because it's not that big of a deal. I do need more shelter in a bug out bag from bugs and snakes and ticks and nasty crap that crawls on the ground out there, as to where out in the western U.S., especially in the Rockies, my stomping ground, I don't have to worry about bugs that much, except maybe a few months out of the year, and if so, it's not anything like it is in the east. So I need more to focus more on warmth and layering for a sleep system and stuff to wear throughout the fluctuations of the day instead of necessary bug protection or netting or stuff like that. I can get away with more experimental sheltering, as we were, instead of just a shelter to keep the bugs and mosquitoes and stuff off of me, back east. So you need to build your bag around your sleep system and everything else because that's going to take up the most amount. What I've noticed is tons of guys on YouTube channels, I'm going to get some hate speech on this, but they're guys that they're massive, overweight guys. They don't go, you can tell if they go backpacking, they maybe go like 5 miles and call it a day. When I go on long range trips, we're covering, 15, 20 miles in one day. It's not unheard of to cover 60 miles in a few days. So a lot of these guys, be careful when you're watching them. Their bug out bags are great if you're going to get on a 4-wheeler or a car and you're just going to go somewhere or whatever, which you're going to bring different stuff. But if you're truly going to plan on bugging out as a last resort and you're going up in the mountains, staying out there for a long time, you need to understand that some of these, you don't need as much crap as you think you need, but you need more of the basis. So basically what my point is, without insulting the entire internet, is you need to build your bag around your sleep system and your shelter and make sure that way you know how big of a bag you need for your climate. Everything else can be worked around between strapping on the outside. That's what I like about this bag. It has tons of place to strap stuff out. Most of the time I carry just a snug pack bivy. If it's really cold, I'll pack a snug pack Special Forces bivy or something like that with just a little blanket. That's enough for me. Taking a family with you bugging out, there's a different setup for that. I have some other videos. We're going to revisit it. But when you pick that, the other thing for picking out the perfect bag is you need something that's super durable. I will say recreational backpacks like Big Agnes, Kelty, stuff like that, REI bags, they carry pretty good. They're super light. They're very well thought out. But the problem is they're not very durable. This bag, I could roll down a mountain with it, which I have slid my Kuya across tons of dirt and rock out in the mountains and the desert. Still looks brand new. You want a heavy, heavy bag, and you want something that is just not going to fail you. Preferably, what I like about this is there is rubberized, weather-resistant zippers. So, if you don't have the ability to put like a rain fly on, your stuff might get damp, but it's not going to get super soaked. Hopefully you have a military poncho that covers your backpack and all that stuff, so you don't really have to worry about that too much, but I digress. So another thing when you're picking out your bag is you want to be able to have attachment points like on your hip belt. This doesn't have MOLLE So it doesn't scream tactical per se, but it does have MOLLE on the hip belt for attaching stuff. I like attaching side pockets and stuff like that. A lot of the recreational hiking packs have that. You're not going to go for a super gray man bag because it's not going to be practical, but I want something that I can dress this down. I can strap garbage to it. I can put, it's a very homely looking backpack, realistically, especially from the distance. I can dress this down and make myself look like a hobo and a bum if I need to. It doesn't have to look so pretty and nice. As for if you're walking around with a, tactical, full-on tactical backpack with MOLLE and stuff like that, it makes you a target. 511 backpacks. I love 511 gear, but their packs, they suck for carrying long distance. They're mostly gear bags just for throwing in vehicles and carrying stuff around. They have great organization, but they don't carry good. So you need to focus on carrying stuff, especially if you plan on doing a lot of walking and long distance. The other thing too is you want something with an internal frame. Stay away from the military surplus stuff of like the Vietnam era crap. It's junk, it's heavy, it's garbage. Even some of the stuff that you can stay away, just stay away from Army surplus. There's a reason why the Army bought it. It's the cheapest bidder. So stay away from Army surplus stuff. Yeah, it's sentimental, but most of the Army stuff is crap. So, stay within your budget. If you need something cheap right out of the gate, go on eBay. There's decent stuff, but we're talking about primo stuff here. I'm not trying to down anybody that doesn't have the money to buy anything, but when we're talking about the ultimate bug out bag, we're talking about primo. I'm assuming your budget is not an option for you. It's just whatever the best is the best. A lot of you guys are. So stay away from mil spec and surplus stuff. It's not as good as the private market stuff, especially Hill People gear. The other thing too is you want a bag you can live out of. So spend some time with your bag, go test it out. If you guys notice, a lot of my bug out stuff from previous videos and emergency stuff mimic the stuff that we talk about predominantly on the channel, which is gear. Some of my stuff is inspired from wildland firefighter gear that I used to use and stuff like that, search and rescue gear. But all in all, I think I've narrowed it down to pretty much the best of the best. So if you're wanting to check out something, check out Hill People gear. They're probably my number one pick. If you're wanting something more budget friendly, if you just need a pack, you need money, try to find some of the older, more subdued color Kelties. They're cheap. They're pretty reliable. They will do. But then again, we're talking about prima donnas here, and we're talking about primo gear. So honestly, I've gone through tons of stuff, and I can't find anything better than Hill People gear as far as the bags, and there's different colors and whatever, but I would find a system, stick with the system, stay with it. But if you're wanting a bag, stay with something for your bug out bag that's not too big, you don't overly pack it. So just to sum up my picks that I look for bug out bag is 1, does it draw too much attention? 2, does it carry very well for long distance? 3, is it reliable? 4, does it carry a rifle relatively easy? 5, does it have a lot of attachments so you can build onto it? And 6, does it fit your sleep system that you need for your geographical location outside and how you plan on sleeping and staying warm and sheltering yourself from the elements? That's probably your number one concern with a pack next to water. Everything else is a luxury. So I hope you enjoyed this rambling. I hope you found something of value. Comment below, let me know what you think, and stay tuned for the next video. This is going to be a series, and we're going to build out this bug out bag together, and I'm going to take you along for the journey, and we're going to cover pretty much everything into the ultimate bug out bag. Stay tuned. See you on the next video.